Hi everyone, my name's Alan Jones and today we'll be taking you up the Watkin Path. The Watkin Path is probably the most challenging path out of all the 6 paths here on Yr Wyddfa. And also we're here at the starting point in Bethania. Bethania can get very busy on the weekends, especially on bank holidays and things like that as well, on school holidays. I think the best option for you to get here if the car park is full is to take the Sherpa bus, which starts in Llanberis or over in Rhyd Ddu that way. So yeah, we'll be taking you up all day today.
Yr Wyddfa has played an important part in my recent recovery from drug addiction. I first went up Yr Wyddfa in early recovery, and from that moment it impacted and changed my life for the better. So it's important for me to give back to the mountain. So recently I've signed up as a volunteer warden here in Eryri, and the biggest reason for me signing up is for me to give back to an area of great importance to myself and my own personal recovery from addiction, and help the mountains that have helped me.
It's really important for people, young people, to connect with places like Yr Wyddfa because it's on our front doorstep. It's an amazing place, views are great, and it's just a feel-good thing to be outside, be walking, hiking, running, and just enjoying the views and the environment. At schools we try to teach about stuff that's local and the importance of looking after the environment in our community, so that comes into lessons at times, but we also try to take pupils out in the community, so just that they can see and appreciate what's there and what needs to be protected.
Watkin Path is really special. Not only is it beautiful and stunning, but it was the first designated footpath in the country, which makes it really quite special, really. And you know, the National Trust, the National Park, we look after a lot of the footpaths in the area. It's a really big part of our work. Really important to make sure that the paths are really good, solid paths. What we're aiming for really is a footpath that is attractive for people to walk on, so it's fairly easy, but also something that's really hard wearing. It's not going to wash away in the rain, and it's not going to, you know, it can withstand that footfall of thousands and thousands of feet walking to the summit every day. And as I mentioned, it was the first designated path in Britain, so we see this really as a bit of a case study really in how you can have a good footpath. So we put a lot of effort into maintaining this path in particular, and you'll see on the ground in front of you here where the stone has been pitched into the ground, and it's a very skilled technique really. It takes a long time to get good at the job. You've got to really kind of read the landscape, use the landscape to your advantage really, and then moving and shifting the stones and positioning them just right is quite a skill. So yeah, fair play to the team. They work really hard in all sorts of weather really, and it's a big part of the work of the National Trust here and the National Park, and it's absolutely essential to make sure that people can come out here and enjoy the landscape sustainably.
What have we got with us today on the mountain?
So
show us what you got.
Yeah, so today as an ML I've got my first aid kit, just in case we need, if anybody injures themselves, a group shelter, again in case anybody has hurts themselves and we need to keep them dry and warm. We've got a spare raincoat, just in case, a spare jumper to keep ourselves warm. Yeah, and obviously a lunch box and that to fuel ourselves, plenty of water with it being warm today, and some sun cream.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've got quite really similar to Rob really. I've got obviously walking boots, mountain clothing, quite a big rucksack to carry some stuff in, got my food, the essential bits, that's the most important bit I always say, and I got the obviously waterproofs, but also I'd always recommend to carry, even if it's a small one, to carry a first aid kit with you on the way up as well.
And yeah, similar to the others really, I've got my personal kit here, so Yeah, all the usual, like warm clothes, waterproof, plenty of food and water. Got my first aid kit. Of course, this one is really important. I've got my map with me, so I know where I'm going, especially if the clouds come down, you won't be able to see where you are. Really important, that one. And going with that, I've got my compass in the top here. I've done a bit of practice with these, so I know how to use them. And before leaving this morning, I checked the weather forecast. As you can see, we're really lucky. It's nice and sunny today, so it's not too bad. There is a chance of rain this afternoon, so we are prepared for that with our waterproofs, but we are hoping for a nice day today. But I did check the forecast just in case.
Both of you are on the mountain quite a bit. Have you seen in recent years the social media trends, the TikTok channels, etc., having an increase in traffic, if you wish, on the mountain and the problems that bring with it?
Yeah, definitely. As a warden working on Yr Wyddfa, I've definitely seen, especially since COVID, I've seen, you know, the trend of people going on social media, posting about the mountain and things like that, and they realise what they've got on their doorstep. And I think people just, because they're more active on social media now, they see that attraction and they want to kind of come here and conquer the mountain, you know.
Yeah.
But that comes with the issues as well, doesn't it? So it comes so as wardens and yourself rangers, we deal a lot with local landowners and stuff like that as well, and they see the pressure as well, you know, wild camping, erosion on the footpaths and things like that. And yeah, so we see this as well, don't you?
Yeah, definitely, yes. And one of the things that we, you know, it's great that people are getting out here and enjoying the landscape, you know, that's what we want, but we want it to be sustainable. And one of the problems that we do have, I think, with social media is these kind of overnight fashions that can happen online, like something, a new place is fashionable or a new thing. And it's often in a place that doesn't have the right infrastructure in place. And it just makes it very, very difficult to manage that. And these fashions kind of can pop up overnight, and you know that'll be popular one day, and then it'll be another place that's popular, and we're often kind of on the back foot, really trying to catch up with some of that. So it is quite challenging, really, but it is nice to see that people are taking an interest in the area and getting out here.
Yeah, and it seems as if the trends are moving around the mountain all the time, and we're all, as organisations, we're always on the back foot in terms of communicating about these places. But I feel. Recently we've adapted, as an authority, we've adapted our channels and what we put out a lot more, and I think working with yourselves and the police and the local councils, we strengthen and amplify our messaging, and I feel we're in a much stronger place than we were a couple of years ago anyway. Yeah,
I think things have flipped in the past few years. You know, before social media, people got their information about an area, you know, from a guidebook or from a leaflet from the national park or something like that. And so it's kind of official advice, whereas now people get their advice from another member of the public, which is often good, and you might find a little secret, but also, you know, you might not get the full amount of advice. And also, it just makes it a little more difficult from our perspective when we're trying to manage areas and make sure that people's visits can be sustainable and enjoyable. It adds new challenges, and as Ioan said, we've had to adapt really, and now I think it's a different approach. Instead of us, you know, pushing out information, it is more of a two-way conversation, or that's what we're trying to do really, and be a bit more present online and on social media ourselves.
I think we do work really well together. We've especially, I've seen a big increase since COVID. We've worked closer together with you know, the trust and things like that. And other smaller groups as well, organisations. So no, it definitely seeing improvements, but also is a big improvement in terms of the amount of people have come and visit, isn't it?
That I've reached where I can reach with my fitness levels today. People have to remember the mountain will be here forever, and if you can't make it to the top on one day, you could try again another time. So I'm going to wait here now for the group to reach the summit and come back down.
So so we've just arrived at Bwlch y Seithau in Welsh. So this is where supposedly, and all according to the legends, where King Arthur, or Brenin Arthur in Welsh, was shot, fatally wounded by an arrow before being carried down towards Chinchilla there and off to Havelock But Simon thinks there's a different sort of story.
Well, maybe another explanation. You know, the legend is a great story, and you know, you don't always want to let the truth get in the way of a good story. A good story is great, and these legends are important. But it could also be describing the actual landscape itself. Just in this spot, just out of sight here, really, there's a little patch down there where there's lots of stripes of quartz that really stand out when you're a bit higher up. You can look down and you see these stripes. So it could be describing the stripes as arrows. So it's describing the landscape maybe rather than a story that happened here. But you never know. You never know. Good story, isn't it? It's all part of the fun, isn't it? Trying to interpret the names.
On another note, we have actually arrived at one of the most difficult parts of the path now. So the last bit up here towards the last push towards the summit there's quite a lot of scree underfoot. So if you're not comfortable going up at this part here, is a good area to turn around and go back.
So it's quite challenging, really. It's not only steep, it's quite loose underfoot with the scree and stuff. So, you know, especially if the weather's coming in and you're unsure, this is the place to turn round, really. But if you're feeling confident, if you're well prepared,
go on for it.
But be careful.
Be careful. At the summit after 2.5 hours, 3 hours?
Yeah, about 3 hours, just over, I think, something like that.
As you can see, the weather's changed now as well, hasn't it? From the bottom, it was quite a nice day at the bottom, but now we've got our layers on.
Yeah, layers on, got the fleece on.
So we'll have some lunch now. Head down in a minute.
Yeah. Bit of refueling. Bit of a shame, really. The weather has changed a lot, hasn't it, really? Like down the bottom there, we're in glorious sunshine. I was sweating. It was quite hot. The top here now, you can't see anything. It's actually pretty cold. It just shows you, doesn't it? It can just change in an instant like that.
How important preparing for the mountain day is.
With
how quickly the weather's changed.
Yeah.
And making sure you've got the correct kit and the sun cream and everything.
Yeah, I'm glad I brought my jacket. So the Watkin Path that we've been walking on today, all the way from the very beginning of the path all the way to the summit, you're on National Trust land, and this is part of Havelock farm. Havelock is quite an interesting farm for the Trust. Most of our farmland we rent out to tenant farmers, but at Havelock we've decided to keep it in hand and we farm it with our own staff. And the reason for doing that really is so that we can demonstrate to others really how farming can be done sustainably, in tune with nature, trying conservation grazing. But one thing that is important for us at Havelock is maintaining the tradition and the history of the place, the farming that's gone on here for a long time. And the farm has to turn a profit. So we're not 100% all-out conservation here. The farm has to be a demonstration to other farmers that this type of grazing, this type of farming is possible while still supporting a family. And that's a really key part of the farm here. And, you know, when you're walking on a path like this through the middle of a farm, obviously, it's really important to remember if you've got a dog with you, you must keep them under close control or on a lead. You know, for lots of reasons. There's livestock around, so it's for the benefit of the sheep, really. But also, you know, keeping the dog close to you can help reduce disturbance to ground nesting birds, and it can also help other visitors enjoy their day a little bit better. So there's lots of reasons to do it, but please, 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 just keep your dog on a lead.
So I've joined back up with the group now after having a bit of a rest. But on the way down, I took the opportunity to speak with 3 different non-Welsh speaking groups about the names of the mountain and what they were using. So one group referred to the mountain as Yr Wyddfa. The second group referred to the mountain as Snowdonia, but they were aware of the name Yr Wyddfa. And the third was calling it Snowdonia, and they didn't know that the Welsh word for the mountain existed. But I think it shows how long we've come a long way in protecting Welsh names, especially the names of Yr Wyddfa and Eryri. You can get skewed quite a bit with online comments, if you wish, when we only use Welsh words for the mountain. But when you come here and you come outside and you talk with people, it's more about people enjoying outdoors. The majority of people or non-Welsh speakers don't really care what the mountain is called. They're only here to have a good time. But I've been pleasantly surprised personally, and the authority as well, I think, of how the Welsh names have been adopted by especially the media and the press and by the public as well. So we've got a long way to go in protecting Welsh names here in the National Park, but we are moving in a positive direction.
Getting out in the mountains is so important to for my mental health, and you know, with my recovery from drug addiction, my mental health is an important factor to me staying clean and sober. And the mountains here in Eryri offer me a safe place for me to go and reflect on what needs to be done in my life and what positive steps I need to take for me to move forward with everything that's going on in my life and my career choices and personal relationships. And yeah, so if there is anybody out there struggling with drug addiction, alcoholism, mental health issues, I've started a group called Snowdonia, and you're welcome to give me a message through my Sober Snowdonia Facebook page at any time, and I'll be back in touch.
We've come back down and it's quite pleasurable to see that people have parked accordingly. Today we've worked with numerous partners, and the National Trust being one, the local council, to do a lot of work to alleviate pressures on Nant Gwynant especially, and people seem to be behaving today. There are new double yellow lines here that people should be aware of, but coming to rural places like this, people, if they did their research beforehand, you could park in the bigger towns like Porthmadog and Arfon. You could catch the Shirpa and come to areas like this using the improved public transport that we've got available in the national park.
But that will also alleviate the pressures on the local community as well, won't it? So that's quite important to factor in as well, because it is a small community, but also one of the most popular paths that doesn't mix well, you know. So yeah, it's important that you do prepare beforehand before coming.
So we're back down now. Did you keep the time of how long it took us? Yeah,
so it's taken us about 6 hours altogether. So it's been a pretty challenging day, really, to say the least. The variation in the weather as well has been quite a big factor, hasn't it?
Yeah.
But as I said, it's a variable path. And beforehand, I'd always tell you to do some research before going up there, because the last stretch of Bwlch-y-Sytha here does get quite challenging towards the end. There's always, like where Ioan turned back there's always no shame in saying that you need to turn back, So it's been quite a good day, long day. I'd always say it's like the most difficult path out of the 6 main routes up Yr Wyddfa. But yeah, it's been a good day, isn't it?